Hello friends, I am Professor D.J. Trivedi going to teach you about 7th lecture in TTL logic family and the series of TTL logic family. You have studied the type of the TTL. 1964 Texas Instruments introduced this TTL logic family, and in that one there are two things was common: multi-emitter transistor and totem pole arrangement. These two things was there. But today which we are going to study is an open collector TTL device in which the totem pole arrangement only the lower transistor, that is transistor Q4 saturation transistor, will be there, but its collector is going to be floating, and upper transistor Q3, which is normally working as a emitter follower circuit, will not be there. That is absent will be there. So this is the open collector is only TTL where the totem pole arrangement is not going to be there. Why it is utilized? Wiring or wiring and this open collector TTL are going to be utilized. What happens when more number of gates are there and you have to join their all outputs together? Either you require a OR gate or AND gate normally, but you know that only two input OR gate is available. So more number of output has to be sorted or connected together, which is not possible with a normal totem pole arrangement, and hence this open collector TTL is developed. So this which we are going to study here today now. So dear friends, we are going to start now this lecture, open collector TTL. Open collector TTL gates. Instead of totem pole output, some TTL devices have an open collector output. This means they use only the lower transistor of a totem pole pair. Figure 14.22a shows a two-input NAND gate with open collector output. Because the collector of Q4 is open, a gate like this will not work properly until you connect an external pull-up resistor shown in figure 14.22b. Hello. Okay. So, because the collector of Q4 is open, a gate like this will not work properly until you connect an external pull-up resistor shown in figure 14.22b. This is the circuit of open collector TTL. This is the schematic circuit diagram, and you see that it is having a similarity with the two input NAND gate. With a two input NAND gate, A and B is the input, Q1 is the transistor with the 4K resistance, Q2 transistor is there. But in a totem pole arrangement, only the lower transistor, which is nothing but it goes into the saturation, that transistor Q4 is there, but its collector is just output, and it is a floating. It is not connected anywhere. And this way, this circuit will not function unless there should be a load resistance to this transistor. So that load resistance here, you can say that externally you have to connect here to the power supply plus 5 volt. And this load resistance here, it is known as a pull-up resistance, because it will see that it will take the output to the high state. That's why that is this resistance is pull the output voltage to the plus 5 volt, and that's why it is called pull-up resistance. So this pull-up resistance is of the order of few kilo ohms. This is required. Without that, open collector circuit like this will not work properly. Remember this thing. Now, why it is required? You can see here more number of TTL gates. This is one open collector transistor. This is another open collector transistor. This is third open collector transistor. All collectors are connected together and they are going to be connected to the lower end of the same pull-up resistance. Other end of this one is connected with the plus 5 volt, and that common terminal of all output is your Y output. That means more number of gates output can be directly connected like this. This kind of connection is known as a wiring or circuit. The output of open collector gates can be wired together and connected to a common pull-up resistor. For instance, figure 14.22c shows three TTL device connected to the pull-up resistor. This is known as wiring or some people say it is called wiring and circuit. A connection like this has advantage of combining the output of three devices without using a final OR gate or final AND gate. The combination is done by direct connections of the three output to the lower end of common pull-up resistor. This is very useful when many devices are wired all together. For instance, in some system, the output of 16 open collector devices are connected to a pull-up resistor. That means if there are 16 TTL gates outputs are there and you want to connect them together, it is possible using open collector TTL circuits or open collector TTL gates. Only this is going to be possible. The big disadvantage of open collector gate is their slow switching speed. Why it is slow? Because the pull-up resistance is in a few kilo ohms, which results in a relatively long time constant when it is multiplied by stray output capacitance. So the big disadvantage of open collector device is this: slow switching speed. Output is not changing from low to high very fast. It takes more amount of the time. Why? Because this output stage which is having a stray output capacitance which is called CL. That stray output capacitance has to charge from the pull-up resistance. When the transistor is going from on to off, that means transistor is going to be off. That means this has to be charged. Let us see in the circuit. Here you can consider that this transistor is going to be this is the output actually. So when this transistor is cut off or it is going from on to off stage, that means this output is built up across this capacitors, output capacitance of this transistor Q4, and this capacitor is charging through this pull-up resistance, and that is providing the charging current. But because this value of the resistance is very high, it is in the order of few kilo ohms, this RC time constant of exponential charging of this capacitor, it takes more amount of the time, and that's why its switching speed is less. So changing from low to high is more difficult. High to low, not much difficult, because when the capacitor is changing from high to low, the capacitor has to be discharged, and that capacitor is discharging through this transistor, and hence because the transistor is conducting, the capacitor can discharge very fast. So the switching time from high to low is not a much problem, but low to high is a real problem. This is lower end of the common pull-up resistor. Okay. Next, this is very useful when many devices are wired all together. For instance, in some system, the output of 16 open collector devices are connected to a pull-up resistor. I think this is repeated. The slow switching speed of open collector TTL device is worst when the output goes from low to high value. Imagine all three transistors going into the cutoff in figure 14.22c. Then any capacitance across the output has to charge through the pull-up resistor. This charging produces a relatively slow exponential rise between low and high stage. And that's why this is adverse or disadvantage of open collector TTL. To overcome this disadvantage, the people have come up with tri-state devices, or Texas Instrument has modified the totem pole arrangement. And in 1970, this tri-state devices or three-state devices was introduced. What is the advantage of totem pole arrangement? The output impedance is very low. When the upper transistor was conducting, the output impedance is only 70 ohms. When the lower transistor is conducting, output impedance is only 12 ohms. That means the stray output capacitance can charge or discharge very fast through this output impedance. And that's why the switching speed is very fast due to the totem pole arrangement. And hence, they have developed these tri-state devices with modified totem pole arrangement, because old totem pole arrangement cannot wire together. That also we are going to see here. Using common pull-up resistors with open collector devices is called passive pull-up, because the supply voltage pulls the output voltage up to the high level, and all the transistors of figure 14.22c are cut off. There is another approach known as active pull-up. It uses a modified totem pole output to speed up the charging of stray output capacitance. The effect is to dramatically lower the charging time constant, which means the output voltage can rapidly change from its low to its high stage. Why standard TTL will not work as a wiring or wiring end? If normal or standard TTL is connected wiring or wiring end, what will happen? That we are going to see here. Either of the transistor is going to be damaged, or both the transistor can be damaged, because very heavy current will pass through any of this transistor and that excessive current will damage one of the TTL device. If you try to wire or standard TTL gates, you will destroy one or more of the devices. Why? Look at the figure 14.23 for an example of bad design. Notice that the output pins of the two standard TTL device are connected. If the output of the second device is low, Q4 is on and appears approximately like a short circuit. If at the same time output of the first device is in the high stage, then Q1 acts as an emitter follower that tries to pull the output voltage to the high level. We'll understand this circuit. This is one output stage of one TTL device, 130 ohms, transistor Q1, diode D1, and transistor Q2. Consider that this output is going to be high. So here the high voltage is going to be there. That means upper transistor is conducting. This is working as emitter follower Q1 and it is conducting. The lower transistor is not conducting. It is disconnected from the ground. You can consider like that way. Second device is also equally same. 130 ohms, Q3 transistor, D1 and Q4. Now in a second transistor, if the output is going to be low, when output is going to be low, what happens? The upper transistor is not conducting. This transistor is disconnected from the power supply, or emitter follower, this transistor is disconnected, but lower transistor is in a saturation. So this switch is going to be closed. Almost it is a grounded. So what happens? What is the direction of the current in that case? If these two outputs are shorted like this one, that means between the power supply, this and this, current direction is from the positive terminal of the power supply through 130 ohms resistance, through 1K, coming from collector to the emitter, through the diode D1, and it will go to the transistor Q4, and through the transistor Q4 from collector to emitter, current will be sinking to the grounds. Now, when the current is flowing in this way, only 130 ohms resistance is in between the power supply positive and ground, and hence excessive current will be drained from the power supply. which will damage one of this transistor. Either Q1 is damaged or Q4 is damaged, or both can be damaged, and hence one of the TTL device or both the TTL device can be destroyed. And that is the reasons this direct connections of the TTL output cannot wire or like this. Since Q1 and Q4 are both conducting heavily, only 130 ohms resistance remains between the supply voltage and ground. The final result is excessive current that destroyed one of the TTL devices. As you have seen, wiring or wiring standard TTL device will not work because of the destructive current in the output stage. This inability to wiring or ordinary totem pole device is what led to the tri-state, three-state device or TTL devices, a new breed of the totem pole device introduced in the early 1970s. This is the circuit diagram of this new breed of tri-state devices or three-state devices. Now, you will be having a first question. What is the meaning of three-state devices or tri-state devices? See, normally in a digital system, you see that all gates, etc., which output may be high or output is going to be low. Only there are two possibilities. Output can be high or output can be low. Either it is going to be 1 or it is going to be 0. That means all digital devices are normally two-state devices. But here there are three conditions is there for the output. Output can be high also, output can be low also, or it is floating or disconnected from the rest of the gate, or it is called high impedance stage. So there are three output stage, and hence these devices are known as the tri-state devices. Question is this: how this circuit will work? So you have to see the two different ways. This is tri-state inverter. Inverter means NOT gate. So normally it will work as a NOT gate. Output is equal to Y equal to A bar, or output Y is not A. It is complement of A. So it is related with this disable. Disable will work as a control signals. If the disable is going to be the low, then it will work as a normal inverter. But when the disable is going to be high, then A has no control over the output, and output Y is going to be floating on the rest of the circuit. So we have to understand this circuitry like this. Understand the first condition. If you want to see the truth table, let us see the truth table. This is the truth table of tri-state devices. Disable input is going to be low, A is going to be low, output Y is going to be high. If disable input is going to be low, A is going to be high, output is going to be low. If disable input is going to be high, that is the next condition. X, A may be anything. X means don't care. A can be 0 or 1, output remains to be high impedance, Z means. So this is output is going to be floating or disconnected from the rest of the circuit. That's why there are three states in the output. That's why it is called three-state inverter or three-state devices. Now we have to understand the circuit diagram, how it is function, how it will work. So first condition, consider disable is going to be low. Disable is going to be low. Transistor Q6 base emitter junction is going to be forward bias, and the current will be flowing in this direction. That means there is an emitter current of Q6 will be there, and because of this, the potential at the base of the transistor Q6 will be very low. It is approximately 0.8 volt only, and because the voltage is going to be low, this cannot drive transistor Q7 and Q8 into conduction. Hence Q7 and Q8 remains off, or it is disconnected, and Q8 remains off. That means between collector and emitter of Q8, that is the open switch, and this collector is floating or disconnected from the ground. Now how it is happening? You understand like this way. To conduct the transistor Q8, you require, what is the potential is required at the base of the Q6? See, between the base and emitter of Q8, there is one diode. Between the base and emitter of Q7, there is another diode. Between base and collector of Q6, there is a third diode. And the potential with respect to ground, the base of this Q8 should be higher by 0.7 volt. With respect to this potential, 0.7 volt, the base of the Q7 should be higher by 0.7 volt. That means here it should be at least 1.4 volt. And with respect to this, here there is a diode. So again 0.7 volt, it should be higher. So at least minimum 2.1 volt is required to the base of this transistor, so that base collector diode, base to emitter diode, and base to emitter diode of this one will conduct. But here, when the decibel input is going to be low, this direction the current is flowing. So potential at the base of Q6 is going to be low, or 0.8 volt, which is insufficient to drive this transistor Q7 as well as Q8 into off. And hence you can see that second emitter of the transistor Q1, that is this emitter of the transistor Q1, and cathode of the diode D1, which are connected to here, but this is disconnected from this one, or it is open switch. So these two inputs, that means second emitter of the Q1 as well as cathode of the diode D1, is floating, or it is not connected anywhere, and rest of this circuit will work as a as a normal inverter circuit. If A is equal to low, base emitter junction is going to be forward bias of the transistor Q1, and hence the potential here is going to be again low, or 0.8 volt, which is insufficient to drive this transistor Q2 as well as Q5, because Q2 and Q5, this, if it is conducting, then only this is going to be conducting, and this is going to be off. That means it does not provide the base current to this transistor. So Q5, that is the saturation transistor, is going to be off, and it is disconnected from the ground. At the same time, because here the potential is going to be higher, this transistor is not conducting. So almost this potential will appear over here. And this transistor Q3 will act as emitter follower. And the potential at the emitter of this one is only 0.7 volt down to the base of this one. So almost 4 volt approximately will be here. We'll see that transistor Q4 will be conducting. That means Q4 is a closed switch, Q5 is the open switch. So VCC is connecting at the output, and output is going to be in the high state. So when A is going to be low, output Y is going to be high. Opposite to this, second conditions. If decibel is going to be low, again the same thing. Transistor Q7 and Q8 is going to be off. So D1 cathode and second emitter of the Q1 is going to be disconnected, or it is floated. If A is going to be high, base emitter junction of the Q1 is going to be reverse bias. So this transistor emitter current is not exist. Transistor Q1 is not conducting in this direction, but that potential is approximately 5 volt. So it will see that transistor Q2 is conducting as well as transistor Q5 is conducting. And transistor Q5 is conducting, that means it will act like a short circuit, or this switch is going to be closed. At this time, this transistor Q2 is conducting. So here the potential is lower, which is insufficient to drive this transistor Q3 as well as transistor Q4 into conduction. So Q4 is not conducting. So this Q4 is output is disconnected from the VCC, but it is connected to the ground, and output is going to be low. So A is going to be high, output Y is going to be low when decibel is going to be low. This is when decibel input is going to be low. When decibel input is going to be high, what is happening? That we have to see. Just opposite to this, if decibel input is going to be high, here there is a plus 5 volt. Here also there is a VCC, almost plus 5 volt will be there. So base emitter junction of this transistor is going to be reverse bias, and hence in this direction current does not flow. So Q6 base to collector junction is going to be forward bias. We'll see that transistor Q7 is conducting and transistor Q8 is also conducting. Transistor Q8 is in a saturation, so it will work as almost closed switch. So between the collector and emitter, it is acting like a closed switch. So the potential of the collector is almost the potential of the ground emitter, and hence the cathode is at a ground potential. Second emitter of the Q1 is also at a ground potential. We'll see that what happens here now. Because this is at a ground potential, base emitter junction of this emitter is going to be forward bias, and hence here the potential will be 0.8 volt only, which is insufficient to drive this transistor Q2 as well as Q5 into conduction. So Q5 is going to be open circuit, or it is not conducting, it is off, and hence output Y is disconnected from the ground. Now, because this transistor is not conducting, actually if this diode is not there, the potential will be 5 volt. But because this diode is there, which is acting like a clamping action to this base of this transistor Q3, because this potential 5 volt, which the current is going to be flowing through this diode to this transistor and to the ground, and hence the potential at the anode with respect to ground is only 0.7 volt higher with respect to the ground, and hence which is insufficient to drive this transistor Q3 as well as transistor Q4 into conduction. That's why this clamping action of this diode will see that transistor Q3 is cut off. It is not active, and hence the potential here is also going to be less, and hence this transistor is also disconnected, or it is also off. So when the receivable input is going to be high, transistor Q4 is also off as well as transistor Q5 is also off. So if this is off, that means it is disconnected from the positive terminal of the power supply, as well as it is disconnected from the ground terminal of the power supply. So Y is disconnected from both the sides. So Y is floating, you can say that, or it is disconnected from the rest of the circuit. And this way, tri-state inverter are working. When it is disconnected from the rest of the circuit, that means current does not flow in the output. In either case, A may be high or low, it has no effect on this conditions. So the current does not flow. So what is the resistance? R is equal to V upon I. I is equal to 0. So V upon 0, that is going to be infinity, and that means it offers Thevenin's infinite resistance to the input or input of the circuit. So this is called high impedance stage, and that is the third stage in the truth table. Now, whatever I have discussed is given here in the PPT. It is written here. So we'll read it here only. Low decibel input. With three-stage gates, we can connect totem pole output directly without destroying any devices. So this is the advantage of this modified totem pole arrangement. We can connect this output directly without destroying any gates. That means we can wiring all this circuits, this kind of tri-state devices. It will not harm any TTL devices. The reason for wanting to use totem pole output is to avoid the loss of the speed that occurs when the open collector devices is there. If the open collector devices, the disadvantage was loss of the speed. When it is changing from low state to high state, it requires more charging time of stray capacitance. Here, that loss of the speed will not be there because here the modified totem pole arrangement is there. Figure 14.24 shows a simplified drawing for a three-state inverter. When the decibel is low, the base and collector of Q6 are full low. This cuts off Q7 and Q8. Therefore, the second emitter of the transistor Q1 and cathode of the diode D1 are floating, or it is disconnected from the rest of the circuit. For these conditions, the rest of the circuit act as an inverter. A low A input force Q2 and Q5 into cutoffs, while Q3 and Q4 are going to be turned on, producing a high output. On the other hand, a high A input force Q2 to turn on, which drives Q5 on and produce a low output. So simply it will work as an inverter. Table 14.5 summarizes the operation of low decibel. Now, when high decibel input is there, when the decibel input is high, the base and collector of Q4, Q6 goes high, which turns on Q7 and Q8. Ideally, the collector of Q8 is pulled down to the ground. This causes base and collector of Q1 to go low, cutting off Q2 and Q5. Also, Q3 is off because of the clamping action of diode D1. In other words, the base of Q3 is only 0.7 volt above the ground, which is insufficient to turn on Q3 as well as Q4 because both the transistors are in series, so you require at least more than 1.4 volt. With both the transistor Q4 and Q5 is off, the Y output is floating. Ideally, this means that the Thevenin's impedance looking back into the Y output approaches infinity. Table 14.5 summarizes the action for this high impedance state. As shown, when the decibel is going to be high, input A is don't care because it has no effect on the Y output. Furthermore, because of the high output impedance, the output line appears to be disconnected from the rest of the gate. In effect, the output line is floating. In conclusion, the output of figure 14.24 can be in any one of the three states. Either the output is going to be low, or the output is going to be high, or output is going to be floating. Logic symbol figure 14.25a is equivalent circuit for the tri-state inverter. When the decibel is low, the switch is closed and the circuit acts as an ordinary inverter. When decibel is high, the switch is open and Y output is floating or disconnected. Figure 14.25b shows the logic symbol for a three-stage inverter. When you see this symbol, remember that low decibel results in normal inverter action, but a high decibel floats the Y output. So whatever the previous circuit we have seen, this is the logical circuit equivalent to that one. This is the input A, this is the output Y. Between them, there is an inverter, NOT gate is there, triangle and bubble. But after this NOT gate, it will work like a switch. So when the decibel input is going to be low, the switch is going to be closed. And Y takes the value of complement of A. That means Y is equal to A bar. It will work as a normal inverter. When the decibel is going to be high, this switch is going to be open. That means Y is disconnected from the rest of the gate. And A can have any value, 0 or 1. Output does not matter. Output is high impedance or it is floating. So we can understand this circuit like this way. The symbol of this tri-state inverter is given here. This is the input A, this is the output Y, triangle and bubble is there, and this third one is a decibel control. So this is the symbol for tri-state inverter. Similarly, there are tri-state buffer is also available. In a tri-state buffer, the difference between inverter and buffer, you can see that it is non-inverting buffer. When it is non-inverting buffer means output is not inverted. Output will take the value of A. If A is low, the output will be low. If A is high, then output is going to be high. So Y takes the value of A when the decibel input is low. But when the decibel input is going to be high, the output is disconnected from the input or the switch becomes open. So it will work like electronic switch. When decibel is going to be low, the switch is going to be closed. And when the decibel is going to be high, the switch will work as an open switch. This is the way this non-inverting buffer circuit is working. Three-state buffer. By modifying the design, we can produce a three-state buffer whose logic symbol is shown in figure 14.25c. When decibel is low, the circuit acts as a non-inverting buffer so that Y is equal to A. But when the decibel is high, the output floats or it is disconnected. The three-state buffer is equivalent to an ordinary switch. When decibel is low, the switch is closed, and when the decibel is high, the switch is open. The IC 74365 is an example of commercially available three-state hex non-inverting buffer. This IC contains 6 buffers with 3-state output. It is ideal for organizing digital components around a bus system. A group of wires that transmit the binary numbers, binary data between the different registers. Registers are temporary storing devices. Now we are going to learn about the bus organization system. What is the bus organization system and why it is required? You know that in so many complicated digital system, there are many outputs are there, and that outputs data is going to be temporarily stored in a different type of registers. This register you have also studied, which is known as the shift registers. This register may be 4-bit register, maybe 8-bit registers are there, because they can store the nibble also, they can store the bytes also. Now sometimes you have to connect the output of this register, and that data has to be brought to some other device or MPU or CPU. And so many registers, data has to be brought to the MPU or CPU. Then what happens? From every register, you have to prepare a transmission line or communication path using the wires. But then if there are thousands of registers like this way, that means what happens? Your wiring is so complicated and you will see so many wires and wires only. That means it is difficult and complicated system is going to be there. For that, if we are going to utilize the tri-state devices for bus organized system, that is going to be the common path for time share the data of different registers. Then this wiring is going to be reduced, and there we can take the help of this tri-state devices. How it is going to be done? We'll see with the example here. Figure 14.26 shows some registers connected to the common bus. The tri-state buffers controls the flow of binary data between the registers. For instance, if you want the content of the register A to be appear on the bus, all we have to do is make disable low for the register A and high for register B and C. Here, in example, there are three registers are given. Register A, register B, and register C. They are 4-bit register. These are the output of 4-bit register. This is the tri-state devices, non-inverting buffer. So you can see that output of the shift register is connected to the input of buffer, and this non-inverting buffer A. This is similarly here, and similarly here. And output of the non-inverting buffer are taken, or it is connected to this transmission line. This output is connected to this wire. This output is connected to this transmission line. This output is connected to this transmission line, and this output is connected to this transmission line. Because there are 4 output is there, 4-bit shift register is there, only 4 wiring is required. 4 wire is only required. Now, all the disable inputs are connected together, and that is a disable input for the register A. Now, suppose you want to take the data of the register A to the CPU or MPU through this transmission line or through this bus system. That means you have to make this disable input low. That means all this switch is going to be closed, and output of this non-inverting buffer takes the value of input of this one. And hence the content of the register A will be on the transmission line. At that time, you have to make the disable of the register B and register C should be high. So this is working as open switch. This is also working as open switch. So only the content of register A will be on bus organized system, and all other register content will be disconnected. That way, only one register content at a time will be there. If you want to make a contain of the register C on the transmission line, what you have to do? Disable of the register C should be low, and disable of the register A and B should be high. So these contains are disconnected on the transmission line. Only contain of the C will be there on the transmission line. This way, the common transmission line can be utilized by thousands of this register, and that way circuit wiring can be simplified. Then all the three state switches on register A are closed, while all other three state switches are open. As a result, only the content of the register A appears on the bus organized system. The idea in any bus organized system is to make disable high for all register except the register whose content are to be appear on the bus. In this way, dozens of the register can time share the same transmission path. Not only does this reduce the amount of wiring, but also it has simplified the architecture of the computer design. Thank you very much, friends.